What is going on? Welcome back to another episode of the Podium Pushers podcast with Justin and Brandon. It is British Grand Prix week, one of the greatest races on the year, a classic track, the birthplace of Formula One. I cannot wait for this weekend. I cannot wait to make some incredible predictions. Brandon, how you feeling?
Feeling fantastic. The British Grand Prix is always a fantastic race every single year, and I'm just pumped.
I am pumped as well. Lewis Hamilton's first home race in red. We've got some other wonderful British drivers: Lando Norris, George Russell, Ollie Behrman, and hopefully that is all of them because that's the only one I thought of off the top of my head. But I hope they all have amazing home races. Maybe we're going to predict some of them to have amazing home races. Let's find out by kicking off our predictions. Who do you think will be the podium pusher of the weekend at the British Grand Prix?
My podium pusher of the weekend, going with George Russell. Um, Similar to Lewis Hamilton, it just seems that George has something unlocked in him when he races at Silverstone. In the past, has very nearly won this race, gotten podiums here in the past as well. So I think George is going to have a great weekend, and I'm just excited to watch British drivers race in Great Britain.
That is an awesome choice. It's hard not to root for British drivers in Great Britain. Yes, I feel awesome about other drivers' home races, but there is something about that Silverstone atmosphere that just makes me cheer on British drivers. George Russell even had one of his best performances in a Williams in qualifying here at Great Britain, so that's an awesome choice. I've gone with a British driver as well. I have to. I went with Ollie Behrman. Haas have had a very up and down year, and I don't have a reason to predict Ollie Behrman other than I think. Maybe they'll be all right at this track. I wouldn't be surprised if he managed to score points. Finished just outside the points in Austria wasn't a horrible weekend from him. So I think he'll get that home race boost, find his way into the points maybe. I'm predicting him to be podium pusher of the weekend.
Yeah, I think it's a great pick. A British driver in Great Britain can never be a bad pick. So we'll see.
Well, hopefully it won't be a bad pick. We'll find out about that. It theoretically could be a bad pick and I could not get the point. But hopefully, for my sake, you are correct. Who have you predicted to be the back marker of the British Grand Prix?
Well, this is pretty contradictory to your prediction, but I'm going with Haas team as a whole. They probably got to feel pretty discouraged racing on 4th of July weekend in the country in which we declared freedom from so many years ago. But yeah, Haas, like you just said, it's been an up and down season for them. I don't know that this is going to be a great track for them. Uh, Kind of could go either way. Kind of a vibes prediction. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens. So yeah.
Brandon's got bad vibes around Haas. I've got good vibes around Haas this weekend. Maybe it's just the 4th of July. It's messing with our mind. We can't see Haas clearly. This is guaranteed that they're going to finish like 10th and 11th. Esteban's going to be the one to score the point, and neither of us will be right on that. That's what's going to happen. I guarantee it. My back marker of the weekend, I've gone with Pierre Gasly. Alpine have somehow managed to go from scoring P5s and podiums to finish last year to being now the worst car on the grid this year. I expected more from them, but the team is in shambles. They're also having a second driver fiasco that's going a little bit under the radar because of what's going on at Red Bull. So Alpine, they're a mess right now. I do not think they will score points at Silverstone, and unfortunately, I'm gonna go with Pierre Gasly as my back marker of the weekend.
I'm gonna let you in on a little secret, Justin, as well as everyone listening or watching. But the solution for Alpine is to bring back Jack. That's what it is. I'm saying it. You heard it here first. Bring him back. Um, anyway, moving on.
Yeah,
Moving on.
Jack Doohan unfortunately will probably never race in Formula One again, but yeah, they definitely probably axed him too soon, that is for sure. But who knows what would have happened if he stayed in that car. Pole predictions for the British Grand Prix. Who do you think is taking pole this weekend?
Going with another British driver, Lando Norris. Lando's got a lot of momentum. Fantastic race in Austria. He, similar to George, has also performed really well in at Silverstone in the past. He's had some bad luck here though. So, I mean, I think Lando can take pole for sure.
I agree with you. I'm also putting Lando Norris in pole for this weekend. Anytime I think of British Grand Prix at the moment, I've just been thinking of Lando Norris's great qualifying in 2023, where he had pole for like half a second. The whole crowd goes crazy, and then Max Verstappen snatches it away because that Red Bull was incredible. No longer is that Red Bull incredible, so maybe we get to have that moment. Lando Norris keep the pole position this year. I think Lando Norris will take pole at the British Grand Prix.
Yep, I agree with you. It's gonna be a
And
great weekend.
this is one of those times where I'm like, should we change it to where we can't make the same prediction, but we're going to be right together or we're going to be wrong together, and that's just the way it goes. Who do you think is finishing in third place at the British Grand Prix?
Third place, I have Oscar Piastri. It's just hard not to put Oscar on the podium. I think he has done really well recently, and however, I do think Lando has the momentum, so Oscar P3 seems likely.
Yeah, definitely a very safe prediction. P3 was probably the most difficult one for me this weekend because there's a little bit of rain in the weather. And so I was like, little backdoor Max Verstappen third place. But after seeing how bad the Red Bull was, I simply cannot, in good conscience, put that car on the podium right now. So I've gone with George Russell in third place. Let me see a British driver up on the podium. It will be cooler than it was in Austria. So hopefully some of that Mercedes pace returns. I've gone with George Russell in P3.
I also think that Mercedes just performs really well in the wet. And George in particular is a good driver in the wet. I mean, think about 2021 Spa, um, and his
First
qualifying.
ever podium.
Yeah, first, very nearly his first ever win. Um, but yeah, fantastic qualifying there in the rain, from George. But
Who do you think is going to finish in second place this weekend?
I've gone with Lando Norris, which was an interesting pick for second place, but I do think Lando's going to have a good weekend and finish P2.
Brandon just saw the McLarens drive away, finish half of a minute in front of the rest of the field, and say, you know what? They're not going to win the next weekend. That's fine. I respect it. Cannot wait to see who you put in first place. I've put Oscar Piastri in second place for similar reasons that you put him in third. Can't leave him off the podium. He's been having an incredible year. But I do think after this weekend, after seeing what Lando has done in Silverstone in the past, I think he's got more momentum. So I've gone with Oscar Piastri in second place.
Yeah, I think it's a great pick. Oscar's been doing well. In P1, I have gone with another British driver. I know that I'm killing you with the suspense. But it is George Russell, not Lewis Hamilton, not Ollie Behrman. Um, George Russell. I think George is gonna have a great weekend, and I think it would be fantastic to see him win his home race. I think George is kind of the most quintessential British racing driver on the grid for sure. Um, so I think George is gonna take a home win today.
He's
Sweet.
gonna cross the finish line and start crying and say, "Crikey, I can't believe I won this race." That'd be great to see. I would take an Ollie Behrman win as well, though. That'd be great for my predictions. I've gone with Lando Norris in P1. We both predicted British drivers to win and just racing for different teams. I do think Lando Norris has the momentum. He even said it himself at Austria that it's good to feel like his old self again. I'm excited to see what he can do at Silverstone. You mentioned Lewis Hamilton. It was hard for me to leave him off the podium. I got to be honest with you. It was tough. You can never count him out at Silverstone. Even last year, I predicted him to win the race, and he did, even though it came out of what felt like nowhere for Mercedes at the time. So it was incredibly difficult to leave me off the podium. Unfortunately, with the pace of Ferraris, with him still being behind Charles Leclerc by as much as he is, I can't put him on the podium. But I can put Lando Norris in P1, and I feel good about it.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't be completely surprised if something crazy happens. Ferrari has amazing pace, and Lewis, finishes on the podium somewhere. But you know, we'll have to wait and see. That would be an amazing dream come true
Yeah,
for him
I'd
and for
sacrifice a podium point to see Lewis Hamilton on the podium in red. Our one push and prediction, my push and prediction for the British Grand Prix is that the driver leading after turn one does not win the Grand Prix. You might be thinking to yourself, that's not that bold at all. That happens all the time. Not in 2025 because it hasn't happened yet this year. So. I mean, the closest it has come to happening was Saudi Arabia, but Max got that by cutting the corner and he had to give it back through a penalty. So I don't necessarily count that. We haven't seen an on-track move for the lead, is what I'm saying. So I think that's going to happen this weekend at the British Grand Prix, and that is my one push prediction.
my one person prediction is that we see a British front row lockout in qualifying. So P1 and P2 in qualifying. It's going to be two British drivers. Um, I've got four to choose from. I might argue it if Alex Albon gets in there somehow. I mean, he's Thai British. Maybe Alex could save me with that, but we'll have to see what happens. But I feel good about that prediction.
I guarantee Crofty would call him the Thai Brit if he did that because that's what he always calls him. So I would probably give you the point if Alex Albon somehow ends up P2. The fans at P1 Lando says Lando P1, big shock there, but also says Russell P2 and Leclerc P3. At Crunchy Frog 250 says Hamilton wins, and at Daniel underscore Marsh underscore says Haas double points for the 4th of July. Which would be the best day to celebrate Independence Day? I would not be mad about a Haas double points at all.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. That's the true pipe dream for this weekend. Is a Haas double points for the 4th of July weekend. Definitely light some fireworks in celebration of that for sure.
Do I think it will happen? No. Do I want it to happen? Absolutely, I do. That is all we've got for our predictions for the British Grand Prix. Before we get out of here, Brandon, what are your parting podium thoughts?
I'm just excited. Great Britain always brings fantastic racing. We've got four really good British drivers. Three of them are in cars that can compete. So I'm just pumped to see what happens this weekend, especially with some weather potentially coming in. So
Yeah, it's a quintessential Formula One track. I always love seeing us go to Silverstone. One day, we have to make our way out there, get to experience the British Formula One fandom, everything that goes down in Silverstone. It looks beautiful. Escape the Texas heat for a little bit in the middle of July. That would be lovely. So we will be at Silverstone one day. You mark my words. But until then, we're just going to be making predictions about what happens. But thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We appreciate it. Like, subscribe, leave a comment before you go. We will see you in the next one. But until then, have a great day and God bless.
see ya.